Welcome to Overtime on Inferno, your weekly roundup of all the big stories in CSGO, quicker than Big was able to 3-0 in Europe. A quick reminder to rate and review us at the end of the episode. It really helps. I'm Logan. This is Aizyesque in a dark room with a light behind him. Let's get into it. Oh God, that's so bright.
There's a reason I'm sat here.
It's giving you an angelic glow, man. That's what.
Yeah, I'm here to tell ghost stories. That's what I'm going to do. Am I really quiet? Because it looks like I'm really quiet.
Yeah, you're fine.
All right, that's fine then.
New producer beef will fix it in post.
It can't be fixed in post. It can't be fixed at all.
Exactly. All right. So we're here today to talk about one thing and one thing only. Big 3-0ing at the RMRs in the same group that had Navi and Vitality and Heroic, who also 3-0'd, and Outsiders and FaZe. I even forgot about FaZe. Like, this group is stacked. We went over the fact that this group is stacked, and you and I said last week that we would not be surprised if Big literally didn't make the major out of this group because this group was stacked.
Yeah, we kind of did say that, didn't we? I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up, to be honest. I was more than willing to just let it go under the radar and be like, no, we always believed in Big. But no, I mean, I'm amazed, honestly. I'm absolutely amazed that
we're baffled here. For notice's sake, we are recording at 5:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday because Elliot is in Sweden. Yes. So therefore, we only know two of the teams that have made it through to the major. Plan is this week you'll have a quick little blurb from us, and then next week you'll have a bigger blurb of Group A and Group B. So we'll talk about Big right now. They 3-0'd into the major, which what? And it's not that they 3-0'd like bad teams.
No, they beat FaZe at a best of 3, 2-0.
They beat FaZe in a best of 3, and they beat Outsiders 16-8.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean, maybe Keto really was the problem after all.
Yeah, Crimbo clutched in a huge amount in the best of 3 against FaZe, like a lot. He was also the best performer across both maps. Like, he was very good.
Yeah, I mean, so I was not so much skeptical about this move because I know nothing about Crimbo, and I've seen Keto play like for 2 years, and I know nothing about Keto. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
What is Keto good at?
It's one of those things where it's like the copy paste is like, was it like Naf is one of those people that gets 20 kills quietly.
Yeah,
it's like Keto just does everything in the game quietly. I don't notice Keto until he either screws up or he does something stupidly insane, which is not very often for either of them.
There's a piece of like ESL content that would go so often on broadcast where he was like, oh yeah, I'd want my last kill to be with a Deagle because I think I'm one of the best Deagle players in the world. And I was like, I mean, you could be. I can't really
never used it.
I can't really refute the point because I can't remember a single time I've ever seen you use it. He's like, yeah, I think I'm one of the, and he was like, he's like, yeah, I think I'm one of the best Deagle players in the world. I'm like, well,
all right.
Yeah, I can't argue because I have no counterpunch. I have no reason to not believe you. But I can't remember a single time you've got to. I mean, someone's going to be like, oh, yeah, no, there was this like mad Deagle 4K he got. How do you not remember this? It's like, I don't remember it because it involved Keto. So
my memory is limited. It takes in Nifty desk appearances and op plays, and that's about it.
Does it only take in like Nifty's AWP plays?
No, other AWP plays, non-Nifty AWP plays. In fact,
I say because
otherwise excludes Nifty AWP plays.
I say otherwise you're really showing yourself up as like not having a particularly big brain.
Yeah, I know. There'd be like a whole 2 plays in there, and that's it.
Yeah, it's like that one map where he got 50 kills, and then
the wall bangs on Cash. The wall bangs on Cash.
Yeah, fair enough.
There we go. Those are the two. We got it. Those are the two. So Big made it through, but based on how groups work, another team made it through 3-0, and that would be Heroic.
Yeah.
Who, if I had to guess a team that was going 3-0, it would have been Heroic because Heroic are the best group stage team I've ever seen.
Group stage Heroic are the best team in the
world. They're
it's
unbeaten.
Like, it's like group stage Heroic, playoffs phase, group stage like G2 because Nico is just a freaking group stages, and then it's like I don't know, like
Na'Vi.
Fucking group stage Na'Vi. I don't know.
The only addendum I need to make to that, it's group stage Heroic, then momentumed Virtus Pro.
Yeah, VP after winning an eco.
The VP plow after winning 2 rounds in a row. Then everyone else.
Yeah. Obviously, you mean the Polish one.
Yeah, I mean the Polish one. I don't mean the current.
You don't mean
CIS mix. Yeah, no, I mean Pascha and Snacks and Taz and Neo. After they won 2 rounds in a row, it was game over. Couldn't let them win more than one.
Yeah, that team was fun.
But Heroic also didn't beat total slackers to get here. I mean, they beat some slackers. They beat ForZe, which like
decent.
They're okay. They beat Fnatic, who are Fnatic, who did win a game. Let me be clear. Fnatic did win against Gamer Legion to get to play Heroic.
Yeah.
And then they beat Na'Vi.
Fine. Yeah, and a best of 3 as well.
That's the big one, which is like, yeah, okay, so you beat ForZe and Fnatic to get here, but then you beat Na'Vi in a best of 3, which again further cements that the fact that Heroic is the best group stage team in the world. It's not close. As
soon as they get like on stage, they seem to have some like just seem to drop off. Like I think it's kind of unfair to like single anyone out, but what I will do is say that Stown doesn't seem to drop off, but the other pieces, like Cadian online and in group stages, is like a star player, but in playoffs on LAN, he's an in-game leader. You know what I mean? Like he's the IGL.
He is an IGL. You remember that he is in fact Cadian and not the world's greatest offer.
Yeah, I think Shush is pretty good as well, but I think Tessus and Refresh, they have a little bit of a drop off when it gets to playoffs on LAN. Yeah. I mean, they all kind of have a drop off, and I think Cadian's actually one of the bigger ones. Where because he stops being effective, he's very similar to. He's a very momentum based player. If Cadian's fragging well, or he's calling well, or both, he's unstoppable. Like if he's one step ahead of you, you're not catching up. But from behind, or when he's not playing well, his calling suffers a bit, and they just don't. They're just not the same team. They're very reliant on Cadian, both as a player and as a caller. And when one of those is missing, he struggles. Yeah, and the whole team struggles.
Absolutely agreed. Let's move on to the 2-1 teams. Teams that in the next day may have made the major. So that would be the group you expect. So Vitality, Na'Vi, and FaZe. The group you didn't not expect, which is Mouse Sports and ForZe. And then the group you've absolutely sure as hell didn't expect, which is Saw.
Yeah. Saw, I think Saw have been together as I'll have to check this, but I think they've been together as a 5 for a long time.
This core has been together since 2019 of November.
Yeah. So like
November 2019 of Mutris, Arm, who is it? RNN and Arky have been together since 2019.
The whole team has been together for 2 years and 3. Like the same 5 players has been together for 2 years and 3 months. That's a very long time in Counter-Strike.
It's actually like decades.
Yeah, it's like dog years. A year in Counter-Strike is like a dog year. No, but I remember seeing this team at a DreamHack Open. I think they made the final or they won. I can't remember. They were, but they looked really good there. And it's like you sort of see the stability that comes and the understanding that comes from like sticking with the same team for so long, where you can actually start to upset teams that are better than you. And I don't think it's. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, actually, no, Saw are really good. They're not that good. I mean,
no,
man for man, mano a mano, they're not that good. But they have a serious like advantage of they've gone through everything you can go through together because they've been together for fucking 21 months.
It's one of those things where it's like when you join a team for the first time, you have to like figure out, oh, what's the protocols? If we hear like one apartments, like what are we doing? All those like protocols that aren't like set strats that you just kind of do. They've seen everything. They know how to play everything at this point. There's no question about, shit, someone's in apps on B Mirage. What are we gonna do now? Yeah. Like you know, it's just instinctual at this point. And they were able to beat up on teams that are one team that's worse than them and one team that probably should be better on them, right? They lost to Big, they beat Unique, they beat Fnatic, who probably should be better than them, but like
Fnatic are so messy, and that's where having apologies, but that's where having the
that's a really bad pun, by the way.
What was
Fnatic are so messy?
Oh, no, I didn't even think of it like that. No, they're like they've changed roster every fucking week, so it's like. When you come up against a team they've been together for 2 and a bit years, like they're going to be so
players right now.
Exactly,
like they're literally trialing Pepzor and very much so differently Poison. Yeah, like they just switched operas 3 times in the last 2 months.
So like saw infinitely better drilled. Like their as you mentioned, their protocols are there. There's no like hesitation. So they like it sounds weird, but it would. If they didn't beat Fnatic, you'd kind of be a little bit worried. You'd be like, yeah, this team really isn't doing anything. It's like, they should be able to beat Fnatic after this long. Like, you should be beating a scrappy, slightly better firepower, but a scrappy team. Like, you should be beating them. And it's a really good sign for them that they are able to beat a team like that. And you lose to a big team who go 3-0, and that's your one loss. You're like, we're doing pretty fucking well, guys. Like,
so interestingly enough, their trip to the major is actually not guaranteed, but damn close. Because out of all those teams that we just mentioned, I'll say them again: Vitality, Mouse, Na'Vi, Saw, FaZe, ForZe. Out of all the teams they have to play ForZe, who just like looking at it, they're the least scary of the bunch. Yeah, right, Navi's scary because they just lost to Heroic and it's Na'Vi.
Yeah, you never want to play.
You never want to face Na'Vi.
Na'Vi could be 0-2 and like lost 16-0, 16-0, and you just still would not ever want to play them. Be like, you see Simple and you're like, yeah, no, I reckon we could take on the 2-0 Heroic rather than the 0-2 Na'Vi. Even if like that isn't true, it always is, you see the name Simple and you're like,
maybe
not. Let's give this one a miss.
Like Vitality still has ZywOo, regardless of any other things going on with Vitality. ZywOo will mess up every single one of the players on your team individually. Not like FaZe just lost to Big in an 0-2. They're scared. Not scared, but like they want to win something now. They're motivated, I guess is the correct word. And like Mouse has to go up against FaZe. Like that, you don't want to face any of these teams here other than ForZe. ForZe is like you're hoping, you're praying, and you get ForZe. You party tonight because you like it's not confirmed you're in the major, but now it's confirmed that we either get to see ForZe or Saw in the major because one of them will have 3 wins, and the other gets to face one of the teams from the lower end of the bracket, which is weaker. Unless you're outsiders.
Yeah, that's the one you want to avoid, though, isn't it?
That's the avoidance one.
We get one of the lower bracket. Oh, it's outsiders. Okay, well, that was unfortunate. Like if you lose to ForZe in the upper bracket and you're like, we drop down, and then you have to play outsiders. You're like, what? Did we do something wrong? Like, what did we do wrong? I will be very glad to see ForZe. I think ForZe probably will beat Saw. I'd be very surprised if they didn't, because all the things you say about Saw, like great structure, like great team play, Jerry drills his teams very well. Jerry's been here for about a trillion
years.
Yeah, and I
don't mean that in like a mean way. I mean like Jerry has been on ForZe for almost 5 years.
He's like and this is gonna sound like an insult, but he's kind of the Russian Daps.
I see how you say that as an insult.
But like, so Daps was always very good at bringing through talent and turning like mediocre looking teams
Yeah.
into genuinely decent ones within the region, but never really moving up to a great or when he did move up to a great team, he was, he wasn't good enough. And Jerry just keeps building like good teams and forwards with like pieces that nobody else wants, pieces that nobody else was looking at, and like turning them into really solid teams. And that's something that Daps was very good at. And so maybe now it's a little bit, he's not as good at it, but like he would turn like mediocre teams into decent ones very quickly.
Yeah.
And that's something I think Jerry is he's very structured. He has a very clear way how he wants his teams to play, and he's very good at making people share that vision with him and bringing them along and making them look better than they are. I really like Jerry. He's always nice. Like he's always a good interviewee. He's always like got interesting things to say. And if he brings another team to the major, you'd be like, this guy is seriously good at what he does.
Yeah. I 1,000% agreed. But either way, Saw and ForZe both have a definite path to the major, right? Without 2 wins, if you're 1-2 right now, it's not that I don't see a path for you. It's your path is real hard.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta win out from this point. You don't have a choice. You are in best of 3 win out. Now we saw that happen in NA, right? 9Z did that. They went 0-2 and then they won out.
That was so cool. Like we obviously we were quite vocal about EG and how we didn't trust them, and they knocked out Pasty Artronauts. I was like, maybe we were wrong.
I was so sad after that. I don't think we've had a podcast recording.
No, we haven't.
EG knocked out Pasty Artronauts. I was legitimately sad.
I really wanted Pasty Artronauts, not the Pasty Artronauts. Just love pasties. The Pasty Artronauts. I was pretty sad. I mean, I wanted
first of all, I wanted stickers really, really badly.
They are cool stickers, yeah.
But like,
probably would be.
Honestly, I think they can come back. I think they go again in the next RMR, and I think they can do it. The beautiful thing about this team is like resilience. I know we've very much now gone off topic, but like the core of this team, the core of this team is former New England Whalers. Like
I really think they have such a firepower issue, and I know it's expected.
No, I don't disagree, but the thing is, right? The core of this team has been together for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like DJ, Bentley, and Ponalone have been together for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Which is a really long time in Counter-Strike. If they can figure out the 2 pieces around them, right? They were just, and to be fair, they kind of got the firepower help, and then the firepower help had some other issues.
Some vaccine-related issues.
Some vaccine-related issues. So they brought Vizen, who played with the team for like the first time in Europe during the RMRs.
Yeah.
Because they brought Peter for EPL. So, like, honestly, happy they got as far as they did. But like,
yeah, it would have been nice to see them. Like, it's so clear that they need experience against good teams if they're ever going to get there. And kind of, I mean, like, it sounds ridiculous to go, I'm skeptical they'll get there. Oh yeah, great call. Like nobody would have seen that coming. But like it's quite clear they have a ceiling. But it would just like, I wanted to see them do better than Evil Geniuses, because that's a real statement.
Yeah, and I think regardless of how they did against Evil Geniuses, I think, you know how we were saying like, EG needs like a shock factor or something that's like, hey, shit's fucked up.
Yeah.
Almost losing to Pasty Artronauts is one of those shock factors.
Actually losing to 9Z.
Yeah, actually losing to 9Z. Yeah. So going back to the original conversation we were having about if you're 1-2, you got to win out from this point.
Yeah.
Hello, outsiders.
Yeah. So,
you need to win out from this point.
Look, if there's any team that is like comfortable with their backs against the wall, I would expect it to be them. Because, I mean, they like put themselves under pressure like every round, And they're like, yeah, we're just going to wait until there's 15 seconds to go, and then we're going to do, like, these guys love the pressure. They look, and like, I don't care who you are, you don't want to play these guys in a best of 3.
No.
Like, you're especially in an elimination one, and every game against them now is an elimination game. I would not want to play against this team in an elimination game. I know they're 1 and 2. I know they've not looked great, but I would not want to play them.
To be fair, the team that they're playing isn't the best team in the world. They're playing Dignitas.
Yeah. Like, they should beat Dignitas. They
to
really
be fair,
should beat
normally the Outsiders team goes up to a team and goes, "Hi, we have experience over you." This is the one team in the world that you can't actually say we have experience over you.
You can't, but you.
I mean, but
they've got the hands on them. Like, they're just a better team, like, all the way through.
No disagreement involved there. But yeah, no, we expect Outsiders to get through this. We expect to see Dignitas go out. Sorry, Dignitas. I want to see Forest again in a major, but like, not in the cards this time.
I really don't care if Forest goes. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to see him there. It's like, look, if he gets to a major and then it's just bad, it's going to be so like, that's sadder than him, like, not going.
But here's the thing: if Party Astronauts go to a major, they're just going to be bad too. But we wanted to see them there anyway.
Yeah, but that's kind of funny though. Like, if Forest is bad, it's not really funny. Everyone's just kind of sad about it.
It's not Forest being bad. Like, let's be very clear with this.
No, I know, but
it's never Forest being bad.
But like, if they went to a major and he just wasn't that good anymore, it'd be like, this is like. Do you remember that major where VP went out 0-3?
Yes.
And like Pascha was crying.
Yes. I used to be a VP fan.
That was miserable. That was
terrible. I hated
miserable.
it.
Nobody, like, they shouldn't have been there. And it just ruined, like, it didn't ruin their legacy, obviously, but it kind of tainted it a little bit. You're like, I didn't want to see Pascha biceps crying. That's not something I wanted to see. It was miserable. And I know I'm smiling, but it's hiding. It's like the smiling mask meme. Like the face behind the mask. It's like he's crying behind it and there's a smiling. It's like, it was so sad, dude.
So important teams that are in 1 and 2, I'll quickly go through them. Outsiders, Dignitas, Fnatic, Unique, Eternal Fire, and OG. OG and Outsiders, to me, are the two, like, alarm bell kind of things.
Yeah, OG are a bit mediocre, aren't they? But they are playing Unique, which...
They're playing Unique, which they should win against. And to be fair, they had a really bad draw of teams at this point. They had to play Mouse Sports, who they won against. They had to play Na'Vi, who they lost against because it's Na'Vi.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then they played ForZe and lost an OT. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't say it's respectable to lose an OT, but like...
Yeah, I mean, as we like, ForZe are a team basically built to upset teams like OG.
Exactly. So, to me, OG and Outsiders are the two, like, okay, you had a bad loss. Let's see, can you come back from it? Because there's still a lot of spots open in playoffs. And then the two teams that we said goodbye to already are Gamer Legion, which I don't think any of us expected to go very far, and Quasar, who you might remember from last week us saying either Quasar is going to win 16-1 or lose 16-0 because they played Na'Vi in the first round. They, in fact, lost 16-12, which is...
Respectable.
Kind of respectable.
Yeah, it's actually like not a bad showing for them.
It's not the worst thing the team got.
Yeah, it's like
they lost worse to Mouse Sports, by the way.
Maybe we're just like, you know how? What am I trying to say here? Like we're so tainted by Russian teams always upsetting people at the major. I was like, oh yeah, no, it's just gonna happen again. And it turns out it's just like, oh no, this actually isn't QBF.
God, I miss QBF. Can we bring QBF back?
Well, I mean, Boomich was on that team, and he's still winning stuff. So, like, a little bit of QBF lives on.
Just a smidgen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, by the time this comes out, it will be Thursday. So we will have, I think every team from this will know whether it's going to the major or not. So
we should have done this whole episode like pretending we were recording on Wednesday and just going through the result, like just guessing the results. And just pretending they were the real results and not tell anyone. So, like, people who only listen to our podcast but don't actually watch the games. They were like really confused when they turned up to the major and like fucking like Big went 3-0. They're like, what? How did? But I thought they went out. What's going on?
So, but what I do want to do from this is, those of you listening to this on Thursday, tell us how wrong we were.
Yeah, actually don't, because we're going to be very wrong. Outsiders are going to lose.
Upset.
Yeah, OG are already out. Like, it's terrible. Na'Vi are out.
Everything's the worst.
Eternal Fire went through. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Both Saw and ForZe went through. I don't know how that happened. Man.
I'm not sure. But other important things. Our former social media manager, Harry, wrote a very nice piece about when Counter-Strike players peak because you fought with Pimp on Twitter.
Pimp actually DM'd me to like talk about that, not in tweet form, because it's always difficult, and we kind of came to a conclusion. It was like, I think age has more of a factor than people like to admit, because nobody likes to admit that getting old makes you worse, because like it's like a nice thing to believe that, oh no, it's because I had children or whatever, like, and it's like, that's nice. But I think there is some of that, but also I think that getting old just makes you worse at the game. Like, I think it just like. I don't think it's because of reaction time. I just think it's a bunch of things. But I will say, I think time spent playing the game probably means more than age. So if you started playing at 25, you'd probably still be good at like 32. If you started playing at like 16, like professionally, you're probably going to fall off a lot earlier. Like, I mean,
yeah.
That's true in like most sports, right? Like Wayne Rooney, by the time he was 31, was a spent force because he'd been playing like 38 games a year since he was 16. I know there's a more physical element to that, but I think it's also unfair to discount the fact that you do have to use your body to play video, like to play counter. Like, it's not massive sweeping motions, it's not massive cardiovascular exercise.
Yeah, it's just kind of.
If there's, it's it's a lot of it's muscle memory, and if your muscles become a little bit like tired or like change a little bit, like, it can throw you off, and those centimeters matter.
Yep. No, absolutely agree. Recommendation to go read the article because it's very well put together, and if you don't like reading, there's a lot of graphs that are very nice to look at.
If you don't like reading, you're very much listening to the right.
Yeah,
Too long didn't read newsletter. So
yeah. So speaking of too long, we're about to be too long for a podcast that didn't have that much content in it.
Yes.
We're gonna get going. We will see you all again next week, where we will have actual, real answers about what happened in Group A and B. We will know who's going to the major, and I think there's something else. I don't remember. We'll figure it out next week.
All right.